Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. Last week we moored up in the lovely location of Moor near Stockton Heath on the Bridgewater Canal, and after drinks and a quick bite to eat with our friends Tony and Karen, it was time for me to catch up with some chores. And then Anthony had to cycle 10 miles back towards Anderton to pick up his van.
So I've been travelling now for an hour, sort of at 20 past 3. It's now 20 past 4. I've just come to the second tunnel. This is Saltersford, so going the other way. I've got one more, which is Barton. I've no idea how long it is now to get to where the van is, but you can see the sort of the journey you have really when you've got a vehicle and how difficult it can be. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain having a vehicle, but for us it's a definite must. We both still work. Yeah, anyway, I shall crack on. So I'm at Barton Tunnel now. This is the last tunnel, so I'm not a million miles away from where the van is now. And actually, this is quite a short tunnel. You can just see the light there. Yeah, this one's quite short. It's quite a steep hill up. The towpaths have been horrific at some places, just with all the rain we've had. But yeah, hopefully not too much longer to go.
Well, Anthony eventually got back to the boat and we settled down for some dinner, and what a lovely end to the day. Well, after mooring at this location for 2 days, it was time to leave Moor and head towards Lymm. This is about 7 miles and just about 2.5 hours away. We saw some lovely houses along the way, and we stopped at Thorn Marine to fill with diesel and fill with water. And after getting rid of our rubbish, we eventually ended up in Lymm. Morning!
Morning.
Are you bright and cheery this morning? You're a bit tired?
I'm always bright and cheery.
We're in Lymm. We spent the weekend here. Your mum came up on Saturday, didn't she?
She did. So I knew I wouldn't get to see my mum on Mother's Day because you were working. So we brought her up. It's the first time she's seen the boat. I think she had a really good time as well. Tony and Karen were with us as well. Yeah,
she had a little drink, didn't she?
She did.
But yeah, she really enjoyed it. Just behind us were Tony and Karen. They set off about 15 minutes ago. We're all ready to go. We're heading to Dunham today, aren't we?
Potentially, although I'm not convinced there's parking there. Paul thinks there is, but I know this area, and I used to go visiting Dunham Massey when I was like 18, 19. And I'm sure the car park that I used to use is now part of National Trust. If that's the case, we're going to have to carry on to maybe Little Bollington, where I know there's parking.
Yeah, and I know I've drove around that area a lot doing magic shows, and I think there were parking spaces near the canal, but we'll see when we get there. Yeah, so I did 2 magic shows yesterday, and the kids and the parents were absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. I'm exhausted today, though.
Yeah, my ears are still hurting from that lady in the cocktail bar last night.
Oh yeah,
very loud.
Hope she's not watching. I've got a bump on my head. I went down onto Tony and Karen's boat for a coffee on Saturday, and I was trying to get Dexter off the boat and whacked my head on the shelf. Oh, it hurt.
I was going to say, in the words of Shaggy, it wasn't me.
I thought you were going to say it. Didn't knock any sense into me.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah. But we love Lymm. It's one of our favourite places. We used to come here before we got the boat. We'd go for a walk along the canal. We'd go to Sexton's, which is the bakery, and have coffee and cake. And yeah, it's just a lovely village, isn't it?
It is. Got a nice vibe to it.
Yeah, very friendly people.
Yeah.
But we're off. Enjoy today's journey. There was a group of school kids that had just walked down to the edge of the canal. They were very excited to see the boat.
Morning. Morning.
Are you catching fish? Are you catching fish?
Yeah.
Are you catching dolphins? Yeah. I think I'm catching fish.
Catching fish? No. There's well in front of us.
What's your last vlog? Oh, did you? That's alright,
Well, looking at this, you wouldn't think it's the middle of March, would you?
No, it's really cold again. But there's no rain, so thankful small Merseyside. So
Yeah, it's dry, it's not freezing, but it does feel more like November, if I'm honest.
it does. I don't know where this water point is either.
I do.
apparently. Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've adopted it before, Anthony, when you were at work.
Oh, there you go.
It's right near the pub,
That's good.
which I think is coming up, the looks of it.
So Karen and Tony are ahead of us. I'm assuming they've done the Elsan because that
was
back
it?
there,
Yeah.
I think. So they may be on the water, but we may have to wait.
Yeah, I doubt it. I think they set off about half an hour before us, and we've been chatting to camera. So we have stayed at Little Bonington before, and that's where we met Pete and Caroline of One Day More, properly a few days after Crick, wasn't it?
In fact, yeah, that was the first one. That's
2 years ago.
really the first time we got to chat to them,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Because like at Crick, it's crazy. You meet loads of people. But yeah, it was. And in fact, Paul sent a picture on the
That's
thing.
what I was
Lovely
just
to meet
laughing
you, and it was like an elderly couple, and they're like, "Who's this?" It's really funny. Anyway,
You know when you're looking on your phone and you've got like 50 thumbnails
thumbnail.
of tiny pictures? And I thought, that's Pete and Caroline, I'll send them that picture. Lovely to meet you at Crick. And they went, that's not us.
embarrassing.
Funny though.
So yeah, who'd have thought from that day we'd have been firm friends?
Yeah, and then travelled together for about 7 months.
Yeah.
And I think we've said this before, we were the first to say, why are they still travelling together with their friends after all these months? I don't get it, but we totally do get it
We get
now,
it
don't
now,
we?
yeah, we absolutely do. And you've got to have that connection, I think, as well. It's like, you know, it's I don't think you could travel with people for that length of time unless you had a certain connection.
Yeah. If you got on. I think it's those kind of people you'd be happy to go on holiday with.
Yeah,
You're happy
absolutely.
to travel with. Oh, some birds.
I know.
Poor birds are freezing.
I'm freezing.
Right, we're just mooring up at the water point. Tony and Karen behind.
Well, the water's smooth. Got the reputation to run back in the boat yard. The barn house.
I've been there as well.
Barn house. That's got a good reputation.
The hose pipe wouldn't quite reach the tank, so we had to wait for Tony and Karen to fill with water and move on before we could pull the boat back and fill with water ourselves. We'd already filled with water a few days earlier, and it took about half an hour to fill the tank. I've got to be honest with you, I used to find this a real faff. But it's just something you get used to, and it becomes part of your weekly routine. I know we've got bow thrusters, but it's just good practice to push the boat off by the bow, and it's saving yourself power. You're much better in there, Dexter, it's much warmer. That's us filled with water.
It is?
Something you don't have to think about when you're in a house, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're the things, isn't it, that make it a little bit harder. It's like thinking about filling with water, filling with fuel, getting rid of your rubbish, that sort of thing that, you know, is just really easy in a house. You just put your bins out and you turn the tap on. Having said that, I still don't live in a house at the moment.
I'm just eating a mint humbug. What's your favourite sweet?
It's not that.
They're
No.
not really my favourite, it's just what we had on board.
I like jelly belly jelly beans.
Do you?
Yeah, I love jelly beans.
Bonbons I like. Strawberry bonbons.
It's too much effort. I feel like it's taking your fillings out.
I haven't got any fillings.
To be fair, you don't have fillings and dentures, do you?
I've not got dentures. Very funny.
It's not the prettiest stretch, this, is it? It may be in summer when the
Yeah.
trees are out, but it all looks a bit grim, doesn't it? A bit like desolate.
But it's the weather, because even Lymm didn't look nice today, did it? because it's so grey and
I guess not.
overcast.
I mean, there's some nice views and stuff, but it's just all just looks really muddy, and there's no leaves on the trees. It's amazing how the seasons just change, like the appearance of things, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. So we have moored here before at Bollington, and I think this is Barton Aqueduct. There was a breach here in 1971, and if you look at the little people on that picture, you'll see how big that breach was.
What little people? Do you mean people that look little rather than little people?
The people that look little.
Like an Oompa Loompa.
Look at the little people.
This is Dunham under bridge.
Oh yeah, that was the
Possibly.
We could see our friend's boat moored ahead. We were a bit worried there'd be nowhere to park the vehicle, but Tony had already sussed that there was parking for 3 cars. I think it's the front one we're going to have to double pin.
Okay, we'll
Quite loose.
take it forward.
I can't help but feel we're glamping when I moor up and we peg the pins in. But it's also become part of our routine that as soon as we moor up, we get the covers up, we get the chimney on, and we make sure everything's covered, and then we'll meet up with our friends for a cup of coffee, and sometimes a bite to eat. It's always nice to let Dexter off and let him have a mooch around in this new location. Anthony thought he was looking a bit scruffy, so he decided to give Dexter a haircut. Well, back on board, in the warmth, we all settled down for the evening, and it was time for me to carry on with my latest drawing. Still got quite a lot to do. I've used Faber-Castell pastel pencils for the drawing of the fox, and I'm using pan pastels for the background. Morning, what a beautiful day. I'm trying to shade Anthony because you can't find your sunglasses, can you?
No, it's really cold, but it's really sunny. Ground's frosty. The roads look like they're frosty too.
Yeah, beautiful morning. Got some lovely shots this morning. Tony and Karen are ready to set off. It's 7:30 in the morning. What's going on?
I don't know. I don't like about it.
The plan is, I've just had breakfast. You're going to get your breakfast. Jump off the boat with the bike. Go for the van. Then you're going to cycle, because our journey today is 16 miles and it's 5 hours to Bedford, just by Leigh.
So Darren's kindly said we can moor at Bedford Marina. We're having some work done. So Darren is an independent electrician who was recommended by Fran and Rich. He's been looking at our system and the setups and thinks he can actually improve it. He thinks there's some settings he can change and some wiring that he's going to change as well.
Just so we're clear, everything's working, he just thinks it could perform better.
Yeah, it could be more efficient.
Yeah. So, looks like Tony and Karen are setting up. We better get going, haven't we?
Yeah. See you soon.
See you later. If you know us, we very rarely set off this early, unless, like today, we've got a big day ahead of us, and we need to get the boat over to Bedford in Leigh, get the covers up, settle down, drop Dexter off at Anthony's mum's, and then we're going to a dinner that evening. We love these apartments in Sale that are made to look like a ship's bow. As the sun was coming up, it was really nice to see so many people using the towpath and going for a run. This is a cafe boat on the left. Apparently it's a regular visitor, if only had time to stop. I tell you what, I know this is a long day, but how can you not enjoy it on a day like this? It's absolutely beautiful, and such a contrast from the last time we came down this way.
Tell you what, it's really busy along this stretch, but it's so nice to see all these boats and all these people out. We've got cyclists, joggers, people walking the dogs, people walking the kids. There's a really nice vibe about the place, especially on a day like this. Long overdue.
The Bridgewater Canal is owned by a different company than the Canal and River Trust, and to go on to the Bridgewater Canal you've got to apply for a licence online. You can go on for 7 days and you're allowed 3 days to get off the canal, so effectively 10 days for free. Any longer than this and you have to apply for a long-term licence.
Morning.
A few people have commented since we've had this new system put on the boat, it's noisier than the old system. It's actually a singing propeller. It's because of perfect alignment, and what we need to do is whack the prop with a hammer or adjust it with some pliers. It's just that we're too nervous to do it ourselves.
That was good timing.
Alright.
Hey!
They're already 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Just seen them.
Does anybody else do this funny walk when they're carrying something heavy? Is it just me?
So you just cycled back and we've got the bike back on board. How long did that take you?
Covered in mud. I don't know actually. What time did we set off? About 8:30?
Yeah, 8:15.
So 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours.
That's including moving your van though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the van move was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So an hour and a half.
And perfect, look at this. We are right at Waters meeting. If you turn right here, that takes you towards Trafford and Manchester. We're going left towards the Barton Aqueduct.
I'm sure I passed Kellogg's. You could smell the cornflakes being made.
There's Manchester.
Yeah.
We were told we could moor here at the Trafford Centre, but the last time we came along here there were no moorings at all. But yeah, it would have saved a lot on today's journey.
Look at that cat. Cute.
That smell of smoke, it's lovely, isn't it?
You can't beat it, and I know like we've changed our fire and that was more for health reasons, but you definitely can't beat the smell of a real fire.
I can't believe this held us up 3 hours last time we were here.
Hello.
We're just about to go over Barton Aqueduct. We've had to wait 10 days for this to open while they've done routine maintenance. Last time we were here, we got stuck for 3 hours because it got jammed. And we were really late then.
Today we're flying over it.
Yeah. Literally.
Ship canal.
It's not that bad.
So we're going over Manchester Ship Canal. In fact, if you look that way, you'll see like the type of traffic you get there. This is the bridge that I've filmed. It's just closing as I got to it, so that's like the road equivalent. But I got really confused taking my bike because there's some steps up there, and you've probably just seen them, but the gate's locked, so I have to come all the way back round and back onto the road.
As you can see, the closer you get to Worsley, the more orange the water gets, and this is to do with the mines and the iron oxide that came from those mines. It's been compared to a good strong cup of tea. Even with the discoloration, the water's still very healthy. There's a healthy fish population, herons and other wildlife.
Might be something coming under the bridge.
I know it's not wondered.
This beautiful house is probably one of the most photographed along this section of canal. We got talking to Anthony's mum and a neighbour, and it turns out the person who used to own this property is related to Anthony's mum's neighbour.
So that's probably the same. Did you see the sale sign or did you see the sign? That looked like a sale sign. Oh, it says let.
Well, in no time at all, it seemed like we'd travelled through Worsley, through Boothstown and ended up in Leigh.
Whoa, what's happened to the sunshine?
I know, it's freezing.
It's
Really
cold.
nice today.
Yeah, it was lovely this morning, first thing. This is a nice welcome.
And this is Bedford Basin.
Just sit there all day.
We're leaving the boat here for 2 nights so that Darren can check out the electrics.
Completely different colour when you see it in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Hello Anthony, I'm Jojo. Not so bad. Gallivanting.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, we made it. Anthony's just jumped off the boat. He's gone for the van because he's parked on the wrong side of the canal, so he's got to walk all the way around that bridge, get the van and bring it back here to Henry Street. So yeah, really nice to see Jojo and Darren. My mind went blank then. Really nice to see them. We're going to get the covers up while Auntie's gone for the van. I'm going to get the covers up. We're going to get all our stuff, and then we're off out for the evening. But we hope you've enjoyed today's video. We really enjoyed the journey. Shame about the weather, but tune in next week and hopefully we'll have another cruise for you. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.